Today, we're going to be speedrunning Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and doing it completely without glitches, which makes for an incredibly difficult yet intense and rather satisfying run. I hope you enjoy. One really nice thing we're allowed to do for this run is load a save after the intro, then set our timer to begin at a certain point around 6 minutes depending on what version you're running. And I actually realized while editing this that I somehow set my time about a second ahead by accident. I really have no idea how that happened, but it's not really a big deal. We start the timer as the screen fades to black. Then I grab the Master Sword, and now we have an incredibly difficult jump called Cog Skip Skip. This jump took by far the longest for me to get down of any section of this run, and I still messed it up quite a bit, very inconsistent. I did find a great video by Timber that helped me a lot with it, so I'll leave that below. Basically, I set myself up using the crosshair against the cog, quickly tap down on the movement stick to turn Link directly around, then quickly start a sprint, then jump basically right after, initiate a weapon throw to immediately turn around, and towards the end, jump slash to just barely get up on this ledge. Also, something we'll be doing as much as possible is crouch throw sprinting. This basically allows me to just keep at running speed and not lose stamina, and if done well enough, you can even build stamina. It's actually really hard to do, and I'm not really very good at it, so I'm not a very good example of the technique. But really, to do it, you gotta crouch, then immediately sprint, followed by the throw button, which you immediately cancel with another sprint, and then you just crouch again and repeat. But it takes a really nice rhythm to get right, and it's quite hard to master. But we'll open this chest to get a few wings, and then jump off right over here and get the epic title drop. As I come out of the cutscene, I'm already holding my movement stick up and slightly to the left, and spamming jump slash so that I'll do the attack as soon as possible. And at the last moment, I can cancel it with the dive button and immediately jump slash again to be able to get out of the water here nice and quick. On the way through, I'll grab this stick for later. Straight ahead, we got a bit of a slow dialogue with this thing, but as soon as I have control again, I turn my camera and begin sprinting towards the ledge. I got a time dropping a wing just right so that it hits the edge of the cliff and slows down just enough so that I can run onto it as it enters its flight. Of course, I had to mess it up a few times, but I decided to keep going since it is a pretty quick reset. But now that we're finally on the wing, I need to aim for the top of the stairs at the temple ahead. If we're too low, we can't activate the door because we need to stay on the plane. But if we're too high, there's a chance the plane could get messed up when we load in, after activating the door. But I had a pretty good landing this time, and as long as we keep one foot on the wing, then after activating the door and loading back in, we can just jump off this ledge here and get voided out, which since we last fully touched the ground back up here, this is where it brings us. Then I can quickly turn around and try to set up another precise flight. Thankfully, I got it much quicker this time, and once we get over here, we can jump off and run into the cave, grabbing bomb flowers as we go. 2 right here, 1 here before climbing up, another one up here before this freaky thing, 1 hiding back behind the bright blooms, and 1 more at the top of the cave right before we grab this shield. Now we need to ascend this route in the cold, so we gotta make sure we have full stam before each climb and can't really slow down at all or we risk freezing to death. We've arrived at our first shrine, and where we get the ability to ascend, which will come in handy quite a bit throughout the run. After Raru's long moaning session, we can run up ahead and ascend our way through the shrine. Not too much to say here, except stam is replenished when you ascend, so it's nice not have to worry about running out as you sprint up to these spots. Nice spin attack to cut these ropes. And as long as nothing goes wrong, I always get to this platform at the same cycle, so we can just ascend up and wait along the edge to be able to ascend one more time. I was a little bit off on this, but we still got it. And then we can finish out the shrine, no problem. After we are back out in the cold, I'll immediately start running to the left and switch to the stick. I'll kinda aim at this dark spot in the snow, and set myself up along the specific spot on the edge, before throwing the stick and hitting the ability button, which cancels the animation and allows me to immediately do a hop forward with ZL and X. After falling for just a moment, I drop a wing and let myself fall for another moment before doing a shield jump with ZL plus Y and B at the same time, which allows me to get right up onto the wing. I gotta press B again though to put away my shield before landing, otherwise I'll ragdoll and just fall off most likely. But if done right, you'll see that dialogue popped up and we were able to get the Zone Eye cell now. Yes. Basically, we just skipped a bit of dialogue that would otherwise happened after we came out of this next shrine up ahead. It is a bit hard to explain the timings on things with that trick. It's a pretty tough one to do consistently. and it's mostly just like down to feeling for me. It does always feel really good though when you get it. Now we land at the shrine ahead, get the ability to fuse. We'll go into our inventory, destroy the flamethrower that was on our shield, grab the sword, fuse the boulder onto it before smashing open a path forward, sticking to the right. We'll grab most of these fire fruits as we wrap around the room, grab the bow and arrows, then fuse a bomb flower before aiming around the middle of this chest and blowing it right over to a nice convenient spot on our way back out. Open this door, and now basically we're just running to the end. And since we got that Zonai cell skip earlier, we can just surf down these stairs right away and not be stopped for dialogue. Jump in this hole, grabbing a mushroom on the way, along with 4 more as we make our way down this path. I do hope you guys are enjoying this run so far though. If you enjoy this kind of content, consider subbing to the channel. It would really help out. And feel free to let me know anything you'd like to see me speedrun in the comments below. But once we reach this batch of flowers ahead, we can ascend up and climb these rocks. Up here we'll do a double jump off this ledge, which is just where I hit ZL plus Y and B at the same time to shield surf and then cancel it before landing with B. This is something we do a lot in this run, so I just wanted to kind of explain what I'm doing. We can cook our mushies next to this guy and immediately eat them for a 5-minute speed boost. Now we're going to continue across the water and head towards this dude next to the campfire. Well, I'll grab the arrows sitting next to him. As arrows are going to be super important, I've lost a couple of runs by just not making sure I have enough arrows for later. I can double jump to get a bit further across the water here, a quick hop over the bridge, and now we just gotta make our way to the gap ahead for our next cool trick. I line myself up along the edge like so, then backflip off and initiate a dive as soon as possible to get a bit of distance. Then I'll do 2 backwards jump slashes to make it all the way over here. Now I can hurry up and ascend twice, and we're at our next shrine. The Ultra Hand Shrine. This one is short and sweet. We can just sprint jump the first gap, then attach these before getting a double jump across. Then I'm going to fuse a bomb to my shield for the next jump. Now I just need to get one more ability and clear one more shrine, and we've cleared Tutorial Island. After talking to Raru, I'll run and jump off the edge. This wasn't a very good one. I should have been a bit further left, and it's possible to almost immediately be able to climb out of the water as soon as landing if you land right next to this little hill. I'll grab some arrows while running up to ascend through the stairs ahead. I'll interact with the temple door that we came to in the beginning and finally be allowed inside, where I can immediately grab the recall ability. After a bit of dialogue, we can just jump over to the platforms, and there's a chance things won't line up because this is on a cycle and you have to wait, or you can make a much harder jump to get right up onto the little ledge, the stationary ledge you can see straight ahead. But it does require a pretty precise double jump that I'm not very consistent at all, so it's much less of a time loss if I just wait an extra second to be able to get on the rotating platform and just make my way up a little bit slower. Over here though, we can touch this door and immediately cancel it, since we still need 4 hearts to open it anyway. So once again, after Raru finally stops his moaning, we can get the ability to fast travel. Before opening my map for the first time, I'll jump while in the air so that I can skip the animation of pulling out the device. I'll fast travel back down to where we started and jump over to this ledge, since now I can just ascend up here instead of having to do cog skip again. Thank goodness for that. But now I can run back down this path and enter the shrine that wasn't active before. Now this one is pretty much all cycles, so I want to be fast. I'll be spamming X to immediately skip the cutscene and run towards the raft, using recall as early as I dare to reverse its course and jump on. Then jump off as soon as I can, deactivating recall while in the air still, since it prevents you from sprinting if you do it on the ground. And if I'm quick enough, then it's no problem just using recall as the hands line up, and that's the final shrine done. Once out of the shrine, I'll run over to these wings, where I'll use Ultra Hand and move one onto the track as far down as I can. Then I'll fuse the other onto my shield and hurry to jump onto the first one. Once I'm in the air, I'll aim for the small stone building on the ground ahead. It might be hard to see now, but we'll be getting much closer in a second, don't you worry. I jump off as early as I dare, and continue to try to aim for the building as well, so we'll be using a small pillar on the top right of it to break our fall. Always feel so damn close. I basically try to put my head right into it just as I pass the top of it, then press B to grab on. It definitely takes some getting used to the timing, that's for sure, and it never really stops being intense as all hell. But it is pretty consistent once you get used to it. So I'll grab the wings out of the chest and jump off to make my way back to the temple. Just gotta climb the stairs, hop back up the wheels, and now we're finally ready to open this dang door and get off this rock. I'll make my way to the end of this walkway, skip another cutscene, and now we prepare for our final flight. At least until the demon dragon, that is. I'll get as close as I can to the ledge and hop off once again with ZL and X. But now we want to drop a wing and jump onto it as quick as possible here. Since even if you're a fraction of a second too late, you'll take a bit of fall damage, and it will make the part ahead a bit harder. Since we do need to damage ourselves so that we're down to a single heart. And if we use a fire fruit to do that after taking fall damage here, it'll just straight up kill us. But this is a longer flight, and it's possible to fly bad enough that you won't get enough distance, so I make sure to stand a bit in the front and aim for the big gateway-looking area at the front of the castle. The parts that aren't floating. It's kind of hard to explain, but you'll see when I drop down to it. Once the wing begins to flash, letting me know it's about to despawn, I crouch and prepare to shield jump off at the last second. Basically just walk off while crouched while holding ZL and spamming Y and B. That way I can slip off nice and smooth, then glide the rest of the way. I want to go a bit past where I want to land, since once I start to dive, I'll lose some distance. But we're just aiming for this observation room balcony. Once I land, I run over to the left and grab a bundle of arrows, then jump over the railing and open this hatch. In this chest, we can grab a diamond, then jump down here and throw my weapon at this dude, since we don't need it anymore and we don't want this lizard to mess with us while we open this chest. We'll grab this halberd and then ascend out of here. At the top, I'm going to immediately throw 2 fire fruit at my feet to get down to 1 health. This is because the weapon we just picked up out of the chest, and more that we will be getting throughout the run, will do double damage at 1 heart, so it's essential for us to get through the second half of the run. I also fused the diamond to the spear before jumping down to the depths. And now the run truly begins. Like seriously, this run is a good half hour of setup, and then a brutal gauntlet of run-killing tricks and just intense combat. But we'll cancel our fall, of course, then make our way over here, where I want to get a good running jump off this ledge, and quickly initiate a dive. That way I can cover the distance to the wall over here and cancel my fall. Immediately knock this guy down. And then this one. I'll kill the first one and take a spear, fusing the horn to it and hurrying over to the second one, where I just need to damage it enough to knock it back so I can grab its spear as well. No, don't grab it! Oh, I did get it! Oh, suck it! We want to ascend in this corner, which can be super finicky, but I luckily got it pretty quick this time. I jump off here, making sure I have full stamina, and taking out 3 bats as I fall, and the rest when I land. Grabbing all their parts, hoping we get at least 5 eyes and 1 wing. Really, the biggest RNG of this run is probably the monster parts, and even that's not too bad. It's pretty rare that I don't get enough. Now we gotta get a headshot on the Lionel to stun it, which I missed a couple of times, but still got it. What? Oh, I still got it, okay. Fucking stamina! This is a pretty simple fight. You just gotta get used to his timings and just try to hit as many flurry rushes as you can. I can stop attacking at the end of my chain for a brief moment to prevent the slower animation of the final attack and really melt him down. As long as we don't miss too many flurry rushes or attacks, then he kind of just gets stuck just doing really simple attacks. He might run off for a quick second, but he always comes right back, and it just kind of keeps him in this loop, making him pretty easy. Oh, I thought I did it too early. Oh, I did it really early. That was crazy. Crazy close. No! Oh my god, thank you! Man, I just want to do it so early, apparently. Usually, if you fuck that up, you cannot dodge the second one. I got so lucky. This one's just perfect. Once he's down, we want to destroy the items fused to both the other spear and the shield. And as the Lionel dies, I'm spamming to grab his shield as soon as I can. Then we can fuse his horn and get a really good spear we will be using for most of the rest of the run. Then I just want to grab the arrows, the other horn, his bow, and also the sword. I want to hurry over to this broken pillar and shield jump across the gloom along the ground. We don't have to be too worried about gloom since it lowers our max hearts, and we have 3 to spare, but I want to ascend through this specific spot, fuse a bomb to my shield as soon as we get up, and use it to launch across this room. I'll run to the far side and shoot down all the bats chasing me, taking all the parts they drop as well. What? I'll then grab this block with Ultra Hand, raise it up just high enough so that when I let go, I can run and grab onto its side, riding it down. And ideally, I would let go with enough height to not die, but still get bullet time to slow things down and shoot the lizards to freeze them. But I mistimed it, which I would rather be too late on it than too early, since at least I won't die. But luckily, we were still able to freeze them, grab this shield over here, and quickly take them out before they dethaw. Now we just want to take the bow, fuse the cart to the Lionel shield, fuse the lizard's horn to the Lionel sword, fuse the rocket to the wooden shield, and finally fuse the cannon to the Zonai shield. Now I'll switch back to the cart shield and the spear, run over here and take out these water slimes, taking all their resources as well. Of course, the block landed just perfect enough to slow me down a bit, but now in this next room, there's these phantom hands that will spawn, and I believe it's on a look trigger, because as long as I jump off onto my cart here and stay looking at the ground, they never seem to spawn. So I'll ride over here and ascend up, shock this guy since I'm lower on my freeze materials, otherwise I just freeze him. Then we can blow up this wall for 10 more bomb flowers. Take the stairs in style. Shock this guy and get through smooth. Blow up a few more walls with our cannon shield. And make our last 2 large descents of the game. Grabbing this spot to break our fall here. Once I ride down to the bottom of this hill, I want to destroy the cannon on the Zonai shield and fuse a bomb. Then I'll drop the wooden bow and equip the Lionel bow and drop down to one of the craziest gauntlets I've seen in speedrunning. The demon army, 5 bosses in a row, phantom Ganons, 2 phases with Ganon himself, and then the demon dragon to top it all off. All while at 1 heart. First, I'll immediately bomb jump into the air and shoot into 4 specific spots spread out. As soon as I land, I'll fuse another bomb to my shield and swap bows, immediately trying to take out a few enemies as I move out of range of the archers in the back. I whiffed, of course, and started whacking them instead. For the most part, we just want to be careful of the archers while picking off the melee guys, continuing to move backwards while we do it. Then, when it's just the big guy, I'll freeze him and take out the archers, grabbing their arrows and some swords. We need at least 1 soldier's broadsword for later, and as many royal broadswords as we can get. There's also these knight's swords that deal double damage at 1 health, and will also work instead of the royal swords. But before we transition to the next phase, I want to make sure I switch back to my other bow. And then once again, I'll immediately bomb jump, but this time backwards and slightly to the left. Then I'll shoot 1 cluster of bombs into the group of lizards, hoping to take most of them out. Ideally, there would just be like 1 left, but I'm rather bad at this part and sometimes we'll have a couple. There'll always be the ranged ones unless you decide to take them, but it's always best to try to get the melee ones, because it's a real pain if you have more than 1 melee lizard left. They have this awful spit attack they can do that is really hard to avoid if you're not full sprinting to the side, or if you're trying to like attack them at all and they just instantly do it. They can really screw you, so they're just a pain in the ass in general. But thankfully, I was able to clear them, and I would have been absolutely heartbroken to lose this run to them, since I've done it before. There's nothing worse than lizards. But then we do want to fuse one of their halberds here, this specific halberd to our soldier's broadsword, before we end this phase. Now there's just 2 easy waves left of the army. First, we'll take these guys out with fire arrows with the royal bow, making sure to grab all their bones and wings. Then I'll make sure to switch back to the Lionel bow and take out the big guys with 1 or 2 hits from the spear, except for the first dude in the middle. He takes quite a few more. One thing I gotta make sure to do here is grab one of their claymores for later. Skip 2 cutscenes and immediately start sprinting over here, switching to the rocket shield on the way. With no glider, this part is much harder, believe it or not, and we just need to blast ourselves up with our rocket shield and hit all 3 spots from underneath using wings and eyeballs. And for the second phase, I just want to time my drop just right to be somewhat aligned with this middle section so I can still hit all 3 points as I drop underneath him. And this took me a long time to get a feel for. This is where I would lose most of my runs that made it to this point. But luckily I didn't choke it this time. I was a bit too early though on initiating my bullet time, so I lost some time waiting for him to line up better, but at least I got it. Thank you. I was so scared I was a little too far away. For Goma, I want to switch to this claymore and drop the other Lionel horn to fuse right away. I then wait for his rocks to come out and reverse one while fusing the other to my shield and using it to jump up onto him after letting go of the reverse effect on the other bomb to stun him. A spin attack will make short work of him. Sometimes standing on these enemies can be a bit weird though, and you can get randomly thrown around, which is what happened to me here. What are you? Stop! But for the next phase, I'll just walk backwards right away to make him do his rock attack. I can then fuse 2 of his exploding rocks onto both of my shields and save one for later, while using the other to jump back up on top of him. Waiting until I'm just close enough though to stun him with the blast. Man, why? Now for this squirmy little guy, we want to shoot him with the water jelly. And then finish the phase with another spin attack, after stunning it with some more normal arrows as it tries to get away. No, why did I do that? Okay, throwing myself off here, that's gonna hurt. Second phase, I tend to wait until it turns, which it can turn right or left, so you gotta be ready for that. And then hit it with the jelly twice again. This time we gotta stun it with an ice eye, or else it will be jumping around though like crazy. So once it gets up to the peak of its jump, I just stun it with the ice eye. And once again, finish it with the spin attack. Now for the queen, I'll stun her with 3 electric eyes right away. Followed by a spin to the face until my weapon finally breaks, and then I'll finish her with some Gibdo bone arrows. Second phase, we'll once again blast her with the rest of our eyes right away, and follow up with 1 electric wing to stun her. Then switch to my shield with the bomb on it still and get close enough to do some damage to her as I use it to blast into the air and get bullet time to finish her off with the Gibdo bones. Could swap bows. I don't know if I would have done enough damage. I just want to make sure that I have enough arrows. Last time I ran out of arrows and it was so fucking heartbreaking. Now, the hardest parts are over in my opinion. And for the construct, we'll swap to the royal bow and stun it with fire fruit. Definitely not required here on this first phase, but I like to do it to start the fight just to be a bit safe, because we want to take out the quick charging halberd that we made earlier. And we'll use this to keep knocking the construct into the wall. And we want to be decently far away with it because it'll hit it twice, and you can knock it back in one swing, in one spin. Second phase is more of the same now, except I think it's a lot more necessary to stun it with the fire fruit, since it's going to be trying to fly up into the air and shooting rockets, I believe. I did have my fusion break, leaving me with just the sword at the end, which normally wouldn't be an issue, but I was luckily able to finish it out. No way. Oh my god, my thing actually broke. That's crazy. It didn't feel like I hit him any more times. Oh, my heart can't take this. With the construct down, we just need to complete 2 more phases with Phantom Cannons, and then we at least get an autosave after that. I'll immediately swap to the Lizelle Reaper we fused earlier, and run to the right, baiting the furthest Phantom. Mostly the idea here is to line up multiple at once in your flurry rushes, which I actually did pretty well here.
Don't tell me this guy's gonna hit me from behind. No, we're good. Come on. No. Come on.
Then I want to swap to the Lionel bow and inch backwards a bit as I shoot bombs at the phantoms on both sides. I really like to focus the sides down as fast as I can while moving backwards, since they can teleport to you pretty quick and attack you in the blink of an eye a lot faster than you'd expect, and I've lost a couple runs to that. So once I run out of bombs, I'll just use whatever's left to finish them off. Unfortunately, they neo-dodged my electric wing, which would have most likely killed them both right there, but that's okay, we still got it.
Okay, alright. Oh, that's the most stressful part of any fucking speedrun ever.
Before moving on, we need to get re-geared. So I'll grab a regular gloom spear for later. We want to save one unfused one for later for the demon dragon. Then I'll fuse weapons to all the royal swords we grabbed and whatever else I picked up. Ideally, we would want to fuse gloom spears to them just for the reach and whatnot, but I couldn't find a lot of them and I didn't want to really, waste too much time looking around, so I just took some katanas, which isn't a big deal. I'll fuse a rocket to my shield on the way out, just to get a few rocket jumps up the hill, but unfortunately my cart shield was pretty much broken, so I didn't really get too much worth out of it, but that's okay. But it's Ganon time. Really not too bad. Just gotta get flurry rushes, and this first phase goes really quick.
How about this?
Second phase is pretty much the same. We just gotta be extra careful not get surrounded or hit in the back by his ads, so it's definitely slower. I did have a hell of a time getting flurry rushes at first with him though. He was acting really weird and he just would not jump all the way to me so that I could actually get a flurry rush on him. He was just staying just out of reach of me. So I lost a little bit of time there. It was a little frustrating, but we got it. And once he's down to half, his ads will go away, and it's just him again. Except this time we gotta dodge him twice before being able to actually flurry rush him.
Oh my god. A little close. I gotta do this one again, man. Okay. I think I finally figured out how to dodge that one, somewhat consistently at least. Just be really bad about that one. Nice, okay. That would be really cool if the demon dragon could just have the tiniest bit of chill.
With Ganon down, we just have to deal with the demon dragon though, which is actually a huge pain in the ass to do fast, without the glider, and you can lose a bunch of time pretty easily. Thankfully, I actually had my first near perfect dragon in an actual run right here. I've done it plenty of times in practice before, but of course whenever I would get here on an actual decent run, I would always lose so much time to this, and of course I knew I wanted to have a good demon dragon for the video, so luckily, here it is. First, as soon as we have control again, I'll turn my camera directly around, and begin spamming B so that I'll jump off the dragon as soon as possible. Once I'm in the air, I want to line up my camera just right with the dragon and begin backwards jump slashing, but once I'm far enough over, I'll dive down and I should be right on the first eye sack thing. As soon as I hit it the final time, I'll turn around and begin running towards the next spot before getting tossed into the air. Just as I reach the peak of my height and before I start actually descending, I want to drop a wing so that I can dive onto it. I'll then aim for the next eye and fuse the gloom spear I saved earlier to my master sword. We gotta time our drop down just right, because basically any deviation or slowdown at all here, and you just won't have time before the dragon kicks you off. Thankfully though, we got it pretty well, and I can run towards this side to get thrown off once again, where I'll drop another wing the same way and fly towards the big square chunk of rock in the distance you can see. I kinda go slightly towards the right of it, and time dropping off this wing for when the dragon is completely passed by the tip of it. I can then jump slash to help Zelda catch me, and if everything was done right, then we should be taken directly over the next eye as Zelda flies back up so that I can drop off right here where I need to be. For the final one, as long as I drop off this right side and get back on Zelda as soon as possible, she'll almost always take you to the perfect spot to once again drop down to the next eye. I have had her kind of randomly take me though in different, like it can be weird, it can be very finicky. She can kind of just like randomly decide to take you really far away, and you could just lose time if this game decides to make you lose time here.
Yes, yes, perfect demon dragon.
Luckily though, everything went according to plan, and the last spot we have to destroy is real easy since it always seems to line up and we can just jump off Zelda right away. Dodge all these hot balls and destroy the demon dragon. Leaving us with catching Zelda's hand, which is where time ends, giving us a 106.58.
Let's go.
Definitely not anything amazing. I'm proud of it for my first Zelda speedrun though. I had a lot of fun with it, and I plan on improving 100%, as this is one of my favorite series of all time. This gives us 6th place on the leaderboard, and I'm only the 6th person to ever have done it, and as you can see, I'm still a decent bit away from the next time. These are all pretty good players, from what I could tell. And you'll notice that it's also got this, it says Amiibo and no Amiibo here, so that's because unfortunately you're allowed to use Amiibos to get extra items for the run, which is like a, if you don't know, like a figurine that you can buy for Nintendo games to scan, and it'll give you just like extra resources or something. Unfortunately, you're allowed to use it for these speedruns. I wish it was like its own category, but I get it. But I definitely would like to improve this run still, and I also plan on learning the Master Mode Breath of the Wild speedrun for my next Zelda run. So if you enjoyed this content, consider subscribing. Also, a lot of the strats I learned for this run were from Player 5. Who you can see is in 3rd place here. So I'll leave a link in the description to the video I used and his channel. He's an insanely good Zelda speedrunner. But I truly hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.